Hey, sorry we're late, man. The dog ate my stash. Oh, look. Sorry, ladies and gents, technical difficulties tonight, but it's okay. We're here now, and that's all that matters. This is the Video Store Clerks Podcast. We are your video store clerks for the evening. Come into the store. The chat is open. The store is open. Let's get it on. We are your clerks tonight. I am Dave.
Chad, man.
Hey, man, I'm Mike.
Chuck.
Beautiful, beautiful, man. And tonight, we honor one of the greatest comedy duos of all time, Cheech and Chong, with their first movie, Up and Smoking. It could not be more appropriate as 420 is nearly upon us. Did you sense a theme for this month's episodes? I don't know, but if you didn't, it is in honor of 420 and the movie that kicked off the stoner sort of... What's that?
What?
Mellow... Ah!
Hey.
We're talking about Up in Smoke tonight here on the Video Store Clerks Podcast, but it's going to be a weird one, so bear with us. Join us. Oh, we have a new rule. We have a new rule, and it's starting tonight. Anytime I say or I get my nipple pinched.
I didn't agree to this.
That's the only way to get me to stop doing it.
I didn't agree to this.
That's the only way to get me to stop doing it. So it's going to be a fun one. Because there's no way I'm not going to do it, at least tonight. Okay. Give me one freebie.
What is going on?
What the hell, man?
Anytime. Well, I went back and watched old episodes, and I say and a lot, and it's really annoying. And so if it's annoying for me, it's probably annoying for the viewers. So anytime I say it, I get my nipple pinched.
But it just sounds like you just want him to pinch your nipple.
That's what you said.
Exactly.
What is going on?
This shit just got weird.
That's weird, man. What are you guys smoking? Oh, you got that. Oh, Led Zeppelin.
Oh, de la chinga.
But we will start the show as we always do with the news.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh.
Usually we have a fancy graphic and a fancy intro, but we don't have that tonight.
Yeah, we went back to our roots for this one.
Old school. Well, man, I have some good news and some bad news. What do you want first?
Bad news.
The bad news? That's good, because I don't have a whole lot of bad news. It's mostly good news, but the bad news is the Twilight Saga is being remade into a TV series.
Whoa,
of course it is.
As are many other movies. That's my freebie. That's my freebie. I said, that's my freebie.
I'm giving you all freebies because I ain't touching your nipples.
Just tweak his fucking nipple, Chad.
No.
Just do it real hard and he'll leave you alone, I promise.
No.
Man, he is standing
Expect
to
to
this.
see a lot of this with old movies turning into TV shows, as Cruel Intentions is also on the list, and Harry Potter, among others.
Wow. That's so stupid. I hate Hollywood.
No imagination, man.
Let's fucking make the worst fucking like vampires ever into fucking TV show now. So there's even more to watch that you don't watch because I've never seen that shit. I tried to watch that. Like I didn't want to, but the people that I was hanging out with were like, "We're gonna watch Twilight." I fell asleep. 2 times I've almost watched the movie. I fell asleep right at the beginning of it. I hate that shit. Sparkly vampires. Vampires don't sparkle. The only time they glisten is when they're dripping blood. Okay.
Very true.
Not because these vampires. There's only one thing that looks like they're glistening, and it's a different kind of body fluid. I hate the fucking vampires in Twilight. Stephanie Meyer can eat one. Or two.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
my
man.
fault.
And luckily, that's all the bad news. At least all the bad news we're going to report on tonight.
Good.
As Jonathan Majors has now been dropped by his managers, his agents, and has lost out on several roles as a result of the domestic abuse charges he is facing. Almost immediately after it happened, the Army dropped him from their commercials. And, if he's innocent, there needs to be hell to pay. I'm not trying to downplay domestic abuse, but this is a little shady. Just my opinion.
Who?
Jonathan Majors, who was Kang the Conqueror recently in Ant-Man Quantumania, and he just came off the success of Creed 3. And almost immediately after that, he was charged with domestic abuse. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm just recording.
Oh, yeah.
Don't kill the messenger.
Wasn't he the fall guy?
That was Lee Majors.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
That's right. Sorry,
Let's
man.
transition to some good news. Let's get some good news up in here because this is the Magic Bus, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Several trailers dropped recently as the summer movie season is upon us. One of them was Godzilla versus King Kong 2. The teaser trailer is up, and it is now titled Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire.
Okay.
I'm glad I don't care about those movies. I'm so glad I could give two shits about those movies because that would probably make me really mad.
In good news, our good friend, hero and icon Robert Englund is having a documentary on his life and career that will be airing on Screenbox this June. Interviews include, of course, members of the cast of the Nightmare series, Tony Todd, Lance Hendrickson, among others. So it should be very, very interesting to see.
It's about goddamn time. Kane Hodder got one.
That's what I said.
Robert Englund, I mean, like, love Freddie or hate him. I mean, Robert Englund is been in all kinds of shit besides just Freddie, and he deserves a fucking documentary. Goddamn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me happy.
There you go. See, good news. And good news for us Mortal Kombat fans. The sequel to HBO Max, I believe, Mortal Kombat, will start filming either in May or June. And co-creator of the Mortal Kombat series, Ed Boon, will be on hand to act as a consultant. So it won't turn out like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, God willing.
That's fucking terrible.
Oh, man, it was so bad. I don't remember anything about it except that everybody dies, like, in the first, 5 minutes or something.
Yeah,
it was pretty bad.
It was
So
bad,
It was
man.
pretty bad. Don't see it. Don't see it, man.
Poop soup, as Whitman would say.
Now let's put the Magic Bus in drive, put the pedal to the metal, and get our smoke on because it's time to talk about Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. Up in Smoke, man. Hook it up. What? Are you going to hook it up, man?
Nope.
Oh, well, Jesus Christ. All right. Well, Chuck has a description of the movie for those who haven't seen it. Enlighten the good people.
First, if you haven't seen it, shame on you.
I do have. Where did Mike go? Whatever. Okay, so
Mike's not here, man.
Mike's not here, man. I don't know where he went. He disappeared. But I do, in my collection, most of my stuff in my VHS collection is horror. But there are comedies that matter, and this is definitely one of them. And I happen to have the back of the box, so I'm going to read that shit instead of running on cities like I am now. There's nothing straight about this movie, but here's the dope anyway. Cheech and Chong make their film debut in the notorious rock and roll comedy, bringing with them the same madness, lifestyles, and sketches that sold over 10 million records in the early 70s. Cheech and Chong's marijuana-laced humor keeps their spirits high and leads them to an outrageous finale at LA's Roxy Theater, where Cheech performs in a pink tutu and Chong dresses as a large red quaalude. It will make you feel very funny. I've never read the back of the box of this before, and that is ridiculous. Like, that is so funny that I've never. I love doing these because of this, where I'm like, I never even paid attention to how ridiculous it is. That is one of my favorites now. That's great. That's awesome. There you have it.
And we have. And other than Cheech and Chong, the cast also includes the great Tom Skerritt and Stacy Keach, among others. And we are coming up on, I believe, on the 45th anniversary of this movie. Is that true?
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah, man.
November 16th.
It's crazy.
Low budget movie. Paramount Pictures gave them a budget of $1 million, I believe, and they still needed funds to get the movie finished. And the producer, Lou Adler, paid for it out of his own pocket after he saw a screening of the film. Because Paramount refused to do it. But the biggest fun fact of all My mind is still blown. I'm half drunk from this. Apparently, Tommy Chong approached Paramount Pictures by saying, hey, you own the rights to Cheech and Chong and Jason Voorhees. Why not do a crossover where Cheech and Chong are counselors? It would sort of be the Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein in a stoner film. I was like, my God, why didn't that happen?
It should have happened.
Why didn't that happen?
There's a lot of things that should have happened with Cheech and Chong that didn't. Like I still don't know why. Like, there should have been a Cheech and Chong like cartoon, like where they were with Scooby Doo and the bunch. That should have been a thing. That could still be a thing if they would just. But it's just the kids thing, and it's more kids relative now than it was back then. Even though I still watch Scooby Doo all the time, but yeah, like there was another movie, like horror movie, that would have been an interesting idea to have them in that universe. I can't remember, but I mean, like they could have done it with Jason. It would have been different. And it would have been funny, but like I don't know. That's I don't know. That'd been weird.
You know what though? If they did that movie, I think the body count would be high. Oh shit! Oh man!
Son of a bitch!
Oh man! Oh shit! Sorry. Sorry, man. I'm just enjoying our 420 special a little too much.
Yeah.
Fucking mustache.
That's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about.
The 420.
And my favorite part is the whole scene when they're in the car together. First gear, second gear. What's everybody else's favorite moment?
How far are you going, man? Right here's fine, man.
Hey, Double Bubble, get in. Hey, that's false advertising.
Fuck this mustache. All right.
Oh, that and the Ajax girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is another one of those movies that there's so many classic scenes in it that, man, this movie. When I first saw this movie, like I said, when we were watching Fear and Loathing, or we were discussing it, I saw it at the same time with this one, and it just, I was floored. I still get the same reaction when I watch it now. I laugh my ass off. It's my favorite comedy. I mean, it's like even like with the opening. I mean, even the scene where Chong is like making the fucking banana milkshakes and shit, and his dad's like bitching at him. He's like, hell, you can even work yourself up them goddamn bananas, fucking Finkelstein kid. Like just that whole scene. He's gone, dear. He's gone. Like, fuck. Like it's so funny. Cheech and Chong are they're one of them. I mean, they're definitely like the best. Like when it comes down to like the comedy duos, I mean, they really are. There's a lot of great ones out there, but Cheech and Chong just they stumped a fucking brand on themselves. You believe that these guys were those guys, which they really are to an extent. You know what I mean? Because they really, Chong was more so Chong than Cheech was Cheech. You know what I mean? But they just some of my favorite shit, man. This movie just. It's great.
What's funny is this fucking Volkswagen Beetle was Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Another favorite from Jack Nicholson. It's crazy.
Because Adler and him were friends, so he took a copy over of the movie for Jack to watch whenever Jack got into some kind of car accident and his shoulder was all fucked up.
Huh.
So he said like every time he would laugh, his fucking shoulder would just start throbbing.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, Jack's a fan of the cannabis.
You don't
Definitely.
say.
Yeah, I got friends that have told me stories actually of meeting him, like because of certain things that I will not get into on here. But
I think you already did.
I might have at one point, but yeah.
The worm started crawling out.
Dude, this fucking film is so much fun. You know, it's one of those ones you don't take serious at all, and it's just a fucking fun ride. Like you just get in and you go for the ride, and there's not like any like negative point. It's just two guys fucking chilling, looking for some weed, trying to fucking form a band, and just have a good time. And it's just one of those fun films.
Yeah, no, like you go the whole movie and Chong doesn't even fucking know his name because whenever they're doing the whole "fuck me, Alex" scene, whenever they're at the fucking venue,
Yeah.
Van starts rocking. I didn't know your name was Alex, man.
Yes. Yeah. Because again, another classic scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, when they're well, actually, I'll tell you one of my favorite scenes, and it goes back to the car scene. You know, the whole thing happens where he's like, his name's Ralph. You know, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And then they're at the court. You know, they got the the bluesy song going on, or you know, and it shows them in court. And they're in court, and Duder's like, you know, freaking out or whatever. Like he's like, man, I need some water. And then he grabs the water, and he's like, it's fucking vodka, man. And then they got all, you know, like it's classic. And they start that like they're jamming with those guys, but like, well, they're not really jamming. They're just being stoned and being stereotypical musicians at that time period. And the scene where they're all like in the house and they think that the feds are there, and it's just because there's a wedding, and it's like actually the fucking
the migra.
It's the tactic to get everybody down to the fucking Mexico for free.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, it's just immigration.
Yeah.
Hey, get the seats, man. Hey, get the seats. What? Get the seats, man. It's like, oh man, that ain't nothing. Like that's just so-and-so's wedding.
They can't arrest your feeds, man.
Okay, just hide your face.
Yeah.
My favorite part in that fucking movie, though, is whenever the fucking cop pulls him over on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And then he's fucking standing back there. Then he walks up and he just stares at him, and he's like, "What do you guys want?" And he's like, "Nothing, man." He's like, "Can I get a bite of that hot dog?" He's like, "You can have the whole thing." He's like, "Thanks. You guys have a good day." He's like, "Did that just fucking happen, man?"
I'm surprised that's ever happened to us.
That whole scene fucking kills me. I laugh so hard every time I watch it.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing is like the characters in this, like you already mentioned like Stacey Keach and stuff, and fucking Strawberry. Hey man, don't look directly at us. The what?
Birthmark.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at no.
Hey, Strawberry. Like, oh man, but no, Stacey Keach. I love that motherfucker. He's one of my favorite actors, and he plays such a great, by the book detective cop, whatever the fuck. He needs to get these dopers off the road.
That's fucking Mike Hammer. Fucking Mike Hammer.
Mike who?
Hammer. Remember?
Mike Hammer.
Never know.
What's Mike Hammer? Mike Hammer. I know I should know that.
Sledgehammer?
He did. He did it later on.
All right. Anyway, but like that, where he ends up getting stoned at the concert.
Battle of the Bands.
The Battle of Bands, and he's like, they're all eating. He's like, "What are you?" He's got the munchies. He's like, "I am stoned. I am really, really stoned." He just starts picking it out, and then of course he like in the sequel he ends up being like a lizard man. Like he's like completely stoned out of his mind, and he smokes out of a little gun. Like what? Whatever. We're not talking about that one, but yeah, we're jumping all over the place with this movie, but like I said again, so many classic fucking moments in this shit.
Well,
it's a great story premise because the whole thing is they're traveling in this van they don't realize is made out of weed. Or do they realize it's made out of weed or no?
No,
they don't.
They have no clue.
Don't. Yeah, they're just driving around.
The whole point is they're trying to find weed.
Yeah,
and they're driving around in a fucking van made out of weed.
The irony.
The irony. It's so funny. Like it's just that kind of stupid stoner comedy type shit where it's like whenever they go down to Mexico and they stumble across, they get the wrong address and they go into the upholstery place and fucking all Cheech wants to do is go take a shit. He's like,
he's like,
trying to hold his butt cheeks.
Come
together.
on, ice cream.
He's literally walking through a factory of marijuana, just like pounds and pounds, fucking all around him, and he's just like, "Hey man, where's the bathroom?" He's worried about taking his shit, and that's like the funniest thing because it's like they're so hell bent on trying to find some dope, score a lid, whatever. And
lid, nobody talks like that anymore. That's so funny.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny hearing that.
Yeah.
But it's the irony. Like, dude, you're fucking surrounded by weed.
Right, like you're driving it. What do you mean?
And they're getting everybody else high on the way.
Yeah, remember the cop?
nuns?
He's like, wonder what kind of shit he's been smoking, man. Wish we had some.
Yeah.
Like, hey, just go up behind your van and stand for about 2 minutes. You'll be good.
Yeah, fucking Stacy Keach, man. Fucking, he's a gangster. He's like fucking. He's done like over 200 films. He was in that one Children of the Corn, the 666 one.
Okay.
He was like the doctor in it or some shit.
Class of 1999.
Yeah, that's what I know you from.
Escape from L.A.
Yeah.
He did a bunch of TV too. Yeah, he's been a ton of stuff.
He stays busy. He's a big worker.
Oh, he did Butterfly with Pia Sedora.
Oh yeah,
remember that one?
Well, what's funny too, like I was reading fucking...
is Chuck frozen? I thought he was just really interested in what I was having to say.
He might be frozen.
We're sorry, Chuck. We thought you were just listening.
He sounds very interested. Hey, Chuck.
At least it was a good pose that time.
I heard you love Pauly Shore. You cut it out. I was gonna have some fun with it, but yeah, fucking Stacy Keach does a great job. Sergeant Stadenko, him and the other guys as like pretty much Keystone Coppers, fucking completely stupid, have no concept of what they're doing. They're just falling over themselves and trying to catch these two guys, and they let a fucking truck made of weed just cruise right by them while they're trying to bust a car full of nuns.
Yeah, that fucking they could never do that now. Oh my god, they would catch so much hell.
And then fucking he gets his leg pistoled twice in the movie.
Yeah, by both of them.
Yeah. That shit's so fucking funny.
He played it so well.
I've been pissed on twice today.
Just go with it, man.
They actually got the name Sergeant Stadenko is actually a cop that Chong knew up in Canada.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Hey, man.
Hey,
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
Hey, Lord ass.
Thanks a lot,
we're
buddy.
all having problems tonight.
It seems
Every
like
time we do an episode we're really, really excited about, we seem to have some kind of fucked up shit happen.
So nobody
Lord
acts excited anymore.
Lord ass.
the part where they're in the fucking like police station and they're going to get that chick to get all the drugs and shit out of the cop stuff, and they get on the intercom, they get on the call thing. Oh,
this is the party line.
Man,
Lord ass.
Radio dispatch, you know who this is? Nah, who is this? And what was funny about that too was like we went and saw Renfield and they were talking about ska music and how shitty it is. And then fucking they actually mentioned the Voodoo Glow Skulls in there, and they used that fucking snippet into the beginning of one of the Voodoo Glow Skulls songs, Insubordination. That's all I got.
all right then.
Well, the inspiration for the
Fun
band,
fact.
there was a wheelbarrow. I think
Yeah.
Cheech found a wheelbarrow that was made out of marijuana, and that was the inspiration for the weed van, I believe. And I know at least the whole scene from the car they used to do in their stand-up act.
Yeah.
This was basically what it was. They, they'd been doing albums for at least
I think it was like 10 years.
Yeah,
it was a long
close
time.
to 10 years. And then they decided to just take some of their best bits and make it into a film. I think at first they were going to call it Cheech and Chong's Greatest Hits, and then it just transformed into Up in Smoke. But it just you can tell that they used a lot of their best stuff here, and it really came into play to where it resonated with people, and people really enjoyed it. Because you see the later stuff, and it's all right, but nothing really hits as hard and is beloved as Up in Smoke. The other films are fun. But I don't know. For me personally, Up in Smoke was always the best.
Yeah, it was always my favorite.
Oh yeah, bar none. The other ones are okay, but this one, this was just so perfect. I mean, it really is like the perfect like comedy, and I was off it. Like you said earlier, it's the godfather of pot comedies.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
is what all the other ones are like. They tried to be. It's always it's trying to live up to the Up in Smoke, and you just can't.
I mean, it laid the foundation for stoner comedy.
Yeah.
You look at it, and then you go forward, and you see all this stuff, and you see the handprints of Up in Smoke and Cheech and Chong. It's like fucking Friday, fucking Half Baked, Lebowski, Fear and Loathing, How High, Harold and Kumar. Harold and Kumar, Jay and Silent Bob. It's always the two buddies that are fucking smoking weed and getting into some kind of situation, just like Cheech and Chong did in the beginning. So
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think How High and Harold and Kumar, especially Harold and Kumar, they kind of took the reins a little bit on the Cheech and Chong kind of old school feel when it came down to that. You know what I mean? This idea of trying to get somewhere and all kinds of shit goes wrong. That's a Cheech and Chong skit.
Yeah.
Like say I can't remember. It's like nice dreams or whatever it is. They have like the different that kind of reminds me of like that kind of like humor and shit. And plus they also kind of they're referenced quite a bit. Those characters are referenced quite a bit, not as much as Cheech and Chong are, but people constantly talk about Harold and Kumar and all that kind of shit. I think I just said all that kind of shit like 8 times. I don't fucking know.
Well, that's this generation's Cheech and Chong.
Oh man,
right. Yeah, but that's a better way of putting it. Yeah.
Oh, damn it!
I think you're absolutely right on that. Yes.
Stop doing it unless I have my nipples pinned.
Nope.
I think what he wants from you. I think what he wants is he wants you to pierce his dick. Pinch, just give it just a tweak, just a little tweak there, just twist it.
I was gonna say
there's no problem. There's nothing wrong there. You just gotta just twist it just a bit.
I was gonna say you need to get some like a little cattle prod or something like that and fucking zap him every time. But then
like a dog collar. Electric dog collar.
And that's where we get into Pulp Fiction type shit, and I'm not pushing for that at all. Because I like Chad. Okay. I do think he can just tweak your nipple just a little bit as a friend, but I'm not there to have to be like the other guy. So,
nah, fuck all that. I ain't into tweaking dudes' nipples.
If you're just
it's false advertising, man.
A little weird. So I'll explain it to you real fast. Anytime I say or Chad is supposed to pinch my nipples, so I stopped doing it because it's annoying.
This was never
fast.
Is there not something else you could pick, Dave? Anything at all that might make Chad? No, that's worse. That's much worse. Just think
I just keep laughing because Mike don't have his mustache on. And he has a black beanie and black shirt. It looks like a fucking robber.
He looks like he's going to break into somebody's house.
Maybe.
Like he's one of the dead presidents.
See, they know the get it. All you need is just like the white face, all that shit. And, we talk about that movie because that's an old favorite of mine. Actually,
that's a good movie.
I'm just laughing at fucking Chad.
He looks great, doesn't he?
It's his fucking outfit, man.
Hey, it's Mario.
Oh shit!
I even got my beard braided.
Hey man, your movie made $1 billion. Let's party.
Yeah, I think they said that this film had the word "man" in it like 200 and some odd times.
It was like 295.
Yeah,
but it was 212 times before they got to Mexico.
Yeah.
And that's like fucking 30 minutes in.
It's like every sentence, multiple times sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The scene.
I heard. Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the scene where they're at Strawberries and Cheech leaves with Strawberry and the motorcycle thing. That itself is hilarious.
And are you tripping out?
Yeah. Hey, he's like, take the reins. He's just like, ah! And then like the house, the house that because Chong just stayed behind, and then that that's where the girl comes in and snorts that fucking what was chlor what is it?
Ajax.
Ajax, yeah, Ajax, and God. Memorable shit, and then that's where they also were able to get the Dave's Not Here thing too. Like when fucking he's trying to call him and shit, try to warn him. It's so funny. Like that's. But what I was gonna say about that scene though is, in a weird roundabout way, I can relate to that scene because I've been in a similar situation.
You've done Ajax?
No. A long ass fucking time ago, back in some of my crazier days, I happen to be at a place that could have been really fucking bad if I didn't leave when I did, and that was where those good moments were coming up. Like it was, I made the right decision. It was either stay here with these hot chicks that are probably gonna get me in trouble, or leave because I feel like something was up. And I left, and shortly after I left, dude, cops busted in this fucking place and took everybody to jail. What was I doing? I was at home fucking realizing that life was a whole lot better just at where I was.
He's at home washing his tights.
I was at home smoking weed and watching Cheech and Chong up in smoke, probably.
Of course, we got to quote Jack.
Yeah.
At some point. The nipples got me sidetracked.
God damn it. Leave the nipples alone.
They said after they did Up in Smoke, the studio wanted to do a sequel, and they were like, hey, man, we have like 7 scripts in the drawer here. You want those, man? Yeah, I think next movie was supposed to be the sequel to Up in Smoke at one point, but they changed it for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But if you look, it's the same characters, just different names.
Yeah.
But still, Up in Smoke's always my favorite.
Yeah, they get kind of, because the movies get kind of stupid. This was the one that, like, Up in Smoke was the one that great. It's like some of their best material, some of their most well-known material, put into one, like we talked about, but like done so well that, like, I don't know anybody that's seen this movie that doesn't like it in some way, that doesn't laugh. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking funny. And then the next one kind of continues, but not. And then the next one after that ends up being just kind of a mess. And then, have you ever seen the cartoon, the Cheech and Chong animated movie?
I don't remember it.
No.
I don't think so.
Was it any good?
It's not bad. It's just animated versions of their audio stuff. Pretty much, with some extra stuff here and there in it, and Cypress Hill had something to do with it too. What is going on over there with Dave?
I don't know.
Blah! Sometimes
I don't even remember the first time I watched this. It was, I'm trying to think, because obviously I don't smoke, so I don't know. It's weird whenever like somebody that doesn't do drugs watches a drug movie, because it's like I still enjoy it, but there's a point of reference that I don't have, So
that's true.
But it's like this. Like, I don't know. I love those films no matter what. Like all those ones we talked about this month, and the ones I shot off earlier. There's just so much fun. And I think that's what it boils down to, because it's like, whether or not they're smoking dope or doing whatever, it's like it's a buddy comedy, and you can relate to it, where you got your buddy and you fucking hang out and you do dumb shit, and it's relatable. The weed is just pretext.
Right.
I know I'm not the only person that's been in a situation where you've been in a car that almost ended up being kind of like that scene, right? Get too smoky, get really stoned. You're getting the passenger side because I don't drive like that, because I don't trust myself. And the next thing you know, you're parked somewhere you shouldn't be, or you're on the wrong side of the road. That became a thing that me and my buddy Lance at the time would always say as we were having Cheech and Chong moments. because he didn't smoke or drink or smoke cigarettes anymore. And then he met me, and he started drinking like a 12-pack every time we jammed, chain smoking Winston's, and smoking weed. And I guess I'm a bad influence. Sorry. And we ended up having all these moments that always it was our Cheech and Chong moments. Like there's so many points I'm sitting there thinking about all the times that Cheech and Chong have been there for me in my life. I'm just gonna go on. Sorry, but like when I was back in my really bad drug days, back in those days, I started working at a well-known pizza restaurant, and I was trying to get off all that shit. And a buddy that I met there gave me a shitload of weed. Just gave it to me. I told him I was trying to get off all the other shit. Just take this. I was off my shift. I was the only one that was at the apartment at the time. I watched Up and Smoke 2 or 3 times in a row and just smoked. And I don't know. And it became my movie that I just watched whenever I was like feeling like I needed something more. I don't know. This movie has a special place in my heart. Like it's a good one. When you're feeling down, when you're feeling kind of in a certain place, it's one that I reach for all the time. Like, you can't be mad. How can you watch this movie and be in a bad mood? That is how I try to get my ex all the time for being mad at me. I would put on Up and Smoke. I would put on something like that because she would always some way, like I would always catch her smiling or like laughing. I would look at her and be like, "You're not mad anymore, are you?" She goes, "Hey, you still." But, I tried.
There's a reason why this is in the 1001 movies you must see book.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a fucking good movie. Like Mike said too, like you don't even have to be a stoner or a drug user to even enjoy the movie. Like it's just fucking fun all the way around.
It is. It's positive energy, and it's like you watch it, and there's no agenda. Nobody's trying to push anything in the background or anything like so many other films. It's just like two guys fucking just chilling and being goofy, dumb, and getting into trouble. Yeah. And it's so basic and so simple and so fun. And, that's just, like I said, it set that groundwork for everybody else going forward. I mean, there's all the comedy duos. They owe it all to Cheech and Chong. They were the OGs.
Yeah.
And not only do they pioneered, for stoner comedies and everything like that, they did so much for like minorities, especially at that time, minorities in film and everything like that weren't getting the recognition or were being portrayed in a different light, by being able to put out this film Up in Smoke. It changed that whole landscape for a lot of people.
It's true.
Similar to what Bruce Lee did years
Yeah.
ago. So think of it that way.
And it was a weird time too. It's 78, so it's like we already have the counterculture shit we talked about in the 60s, and weed is kind of starting to tone down at this point. If you watch Cheech and Chong, and then you don't really have too many stoner flicks until the 90s, really.
Right.
All the 80s, like the late, this is the end of the 70s, and then you got the 80s, and cocaine is hitting that peak. So weed is kind of taking a back seat.
If you look at it, though, that's where horror movies come in, because I mean there wasn't really any that I could think of any horror-based movies at that time that were based around weed. But if you look at all the weed that's being smoked, and a lot of those horror movies and shit that came out in the 80s, that the good, the bad, the ones that were in theaters, the ones that all that shit, weed's in them all the time. That's that whole the whole thing. So we had weed movies, we had stoner movies, except they were in a different format. And once again, horror lives. Like when it comes down to like the stoner shit, man. Yeah, horror movies, always horror movies.
Right, but the stoner comedies there wasn't really anything in the 80s.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like the only we had, if it wasn't for the horror movies, there wasn't really a platform, unless it was some kind of anti-drug shit or whatever. There wasn't really ever anything like that. Like I'm grim. Yeah.
The 80s was a strange time. This was a time when the war, the Reagan era, the war on drugs. You had parent groups going before Congress trying to get movies like this and horror movies banned and things like that. And it goes through cycles. And then at the end of all that is when we got Quentin Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez, people like that. It's similar to what we're going through now. It goes through cycles. We get guys like Damon Leone, and you could argue Rob Zombie.
He has his place too, I think.
I think so too. Devil's Rejects.
Things
like that. But it's a similar time.
That's a great movie.
Films that are pushing agendas and pushing political agendas and all these things, and it's just garbage. Nobody wants it. They still haven't realized it yet, but they will. We'll get there. Things will get back to normal, and we'll have a new Cheech and Chong.
Or Terminator 2 is going to become real, and we're fucked. Here's Tom with the weather.
Well,
I mean, it's generational. I mean, you look at it, and like I was saying, it's like, this is 78 and everything's kind of cooled down. The 80s come around. You got cocaine hitting its peak. You got crack introduced. It's just a different landscape as far as the drug culture and everything like that. So you don't see a lot of marijuana type stuff. I mean, like you said, it's in the films, but it's in like the background kind. It's not like fucking super weed shit. And then the 90s roll around, and then you start having this, cascade of stoner stuff. You got Dazed and Confused in like 93. You got Friday. What's that?
Was Dazed and Confused the first one I was going to say?
I don't know if it's the first one, but it's the first one I can think of in my mind.
It was early.
That's the most notable one, yeah.
Yeah, there's probably other, smaller ones that didn't get as much attention. But Dazed and Confused is like 93, Fridays in 95. And then, fucking 98, it just hits, boom, full speed ahead. You got Half Baked, you got Lebowski, you got Fear and Loathing. It's like everybody, like for our generation, we're hitting that period where we're, hitting 17, 18, and we're getting into adulthood. So it's like we're getting into, more drug, stuff. Not me, but like, in high school, around that time, your friends are doing drugs, your friends are drinking, doing all this stuff that's cool, whatever, and everything like that. So it's, relatable for our generation, especially at that time frame. Plus, it's like you got the older generation who, lived through the cocaine and the crack and all that and dealt with the serious shit. Like we were kids, so we didn't see the effects of how it really fucked up society. But they went through all that, and it seems like Dave Chappelle and those guys got to the point where the 90s where everybody's like, man, the fucking 80s were such a bummer when it came to drugs, and it fucked up so many people, and it did so much shitty stuff for like the communities and everything like that, to where they're like, let's just go back to weed. Let's go back to chilling and having a good time, because fucking coke and crack and drug laws and everything that just went down fucking sucked. So let's turn it around. And that's, how it felt.
Yeah. The AIDS epidemic and all those things played a part. And yeah, it was just a very different time. It always seems like things change at the end or towards the end of whatever decade, like the late 90s, late 70s.
If you ever want to find out if one of your elders ever smoked weed, just put on a really shitty stoner film and just listen to them. They'll admit it themselves without knowing. Like you'll be like watching with your buddy's like grandfather or whatever the fuck, watching some pot movie and they're not rolling it right, and in the corner of your ear you hear them go, "That's not how I used to roll it back in the day." What? It's like, seriously, I guess you can't. I've watched movies before, and my kids over there, and I'm just kind of I blurt shit out. I'm like, it's whatever. Cigarettes. Daddy smokes cigarettes.
I found out at some point, somebody, I don't even remember who told me this, that my dad would sell weed back in the day whenever he was, a teenager. And they called him Coin Man. Because they were like, oh, you got a nickel, you got a dime, go see the Coin Man.
Oh. That's pretty funny. I actually found out too, after this shit came out, apparently Chong did a 9-month bid in jail because they thought he was really his persona.
Yeah.
He played in the movie. I'm like, that's fucked up, yo.
What a compliment, though.
I remember when that documentary came out about that.
Smoke or anything whenever they were actually filming the movie. They sound like they were on set stoned all day. They didn't even smoke or nothing.
Well, that was kind of the catalyst that broke them up for a long period of time. You know, they had been doing all the films and they had done the albums first, and then they'd done the films through the late '80s, and then they hit this point to where they didn't want to work together. It was, from my understanding, Chong was kind of more demanding. Like, he wanted like to be the sole writer, sole director. He wanted things to be taken a little bit more serious because so many people treated him like his character. It was kind of like wrestling, where, you know, like, you're being associated with the character so much that people think you are the character in real life.
Right.
And it's like, that's what you see the films, and it says like Thomas Chong. It doesn't say Tommy Chong. He's like, you know, trying to be a little bit more professional and kind of move on with his career and do more. And it's like, you know, Cheech wanted to do some writing and everything like that. And then it was just kind of these two great actors and minds butting heads to where it was like, you know, let's just go our separate ways.
What's really funny is I think it was after the Cheech and Chong movies took a break, and they were kind of going through that spat. Then Cheech came out with Shrimp on the Barbie or whatever that fucking movie was.
I was just about to say that.
Which was pretty much the Cheech and Chong movie without Chong.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the movie's so ridiculous. But man, me and my friends used to watch that VHS.
Or for me, I'm pretty sure that my first introduction to Cheech Marin was Born in East LA.
Born in East LA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like your pants.
Same.
Which is a good one. I mean, you know.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
Right, yeah.
You give me your pants.
And years later, he'd be on that long-running TV show with Don Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What was that called again?
That was, shit.
I can picture like the fucking intro too.
My parents love that show.
Nash Bridges.
I can't fucking. Yeah.
I can sleep tonight.
Yeah. No shit. Yeah, it was gonna bug me. It would take 2 seconds. I would figure it out, but yeah,
obviously,
no, like
Cheech went on to have Cheech went on to have the better career, obviously.
From Dusk Till Dawn. Come on, you know.
Yeah, he was in a lot.
I don't know, we were just watching Senior Trip, and Chong's the fucking bus driver, and that shit was fucking hilarious.
That's one of the best tributes of any other film to Cheech and Chong I've ever seen, and it's one a lot of people don't know about. Is National Lampoon's Senior Trip, and it stars Jeremy Renner, and I believe one of his first, if not his first, role. A very young Jeremy Renner, 95, I believe this came out.
Very young.
And Chong's driving the bus, and he even sings a song. Mama talking
yeah, he's sitting there singing Earache My Eye when he's driving.
And his name is Red, which you said was a reference to another character?
It was one of Cheech's characters, I think, in Nice Dreams. It was his cousin.
Yeah, it was, hey, ho, how's it going? Hey, he's like the country version of it.
He sees the aliens and shit.
hey, quit holding this. Hey, ho. Make some fruit. Gonna make some fruit.
That's where they get really fucking stupid in the later films, man. With like alien weed, man, and fucking lizard people. You're like, what the fuck are these guys on, man?
All right, FBI, put your hands up.
In that fucking hotel room, and he's running around all dressed up like me.
Spirit's hot, man.
There is funny parts in those movies.
There is.
Fucking Pee Wee Herman being all coked out.
Oh, right. Uh-oh.
That was the Pee Wee Herman.
It's alive. The computer's alive. Restarting. Circle. Never mind. As you were.
Because we're almost out of time.
I told you. I should have bet money that this motherfucker was going to start working when the show was almost over.
Don't mind him. He was doing the Ajax. This fucking guy.
Oh, shit,
whoa.
God damn it.
Yeah, like this such a classic.
It really is.
It's referenced. I mean, Cheech and Chong are referenced in about as many movies as like Jason Voorhees and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're one of the greats. And then the cool thing about it is where not just drug culture, but like, you know, cannabis culture really has come back in a big fucking way in the last few years. Like it kind of brought Cheech and Chong back. At everybody was wanting them to come back then, and it was kind of nice. Their last movie they came out with, it was a stand-up. Did you all watch that?
No. I don't think I've seen that one. No.
It's funny, but they have it. It's a mixture of stand-up with them doing skits and stuff, but it's also showing them being locked out of the show and then trying to get back inside, but nobody will let them in. It's pretty funny. It's all right. It was like it came out like a couple of years after Chong was released or some shit like that.
Selling butter.
Yeah, man, that was some bullshit. Like I remember I watched a documentary about that and shit, and
he's
just like
one of the forefathers for fighting for cannabis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
Well, it's like they don't even want to really do the characters anymore, man. They said weed has been such a fucking it's more socially acceptable now, so it's not it's not as it's a different fucking time.
Right.
I mean, yeah, the outlaw aspect of it.
It's still funny to me, like whenever you're around fucking older people and they'll talk about weed and they still act like it's fucking like super illegal, like fucking like when we were kids, like fucking people are like, oh, fucking weed's bad, you're gonna get fucking busted, you're gonna go to jail and all that shit. But now it's like they still I'm around older people and they'll still talk about weed like it's fucking like some kind of serious shit. It's like, dude, it's fucking legalized in most places now or whatever.
Well,
so it's like fucking somebody's like, oh, this guy's outside smoking a joint. It's like, dude,
nobody cares.
There's a fucking place right down the street where you can go buy whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah. Damn it.
What were you gonna say, man?
Oh fuck. I had it
sitting on the table and the little motherfucker ate it. Man.
Fucking dog, man. They said that wasn't okay. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, like I was thinking about it, and I wish that I had some kind of like something to wear for this, and I thought about it, and I almost forgot. I did have a Cheech and Chong and Scooby Doo shirt that my mom got me a couple years ago. Unfortunately, my ex destroyed it.
I hate that shit.
Yeah,
man.
I only got to wear it a couple of times too, which really sucks.
All my exes used to always steal all my fucking hoodies.
I've had it before.
All my exes live in Texas.
Shut the fuck up.
I was waiting for that one. Waiting for it.
As soon as you said all my, I knew it was coming.
Actually, I do have one, but no, whatever.
But yeah, I mean, it is a different time period. Like the outlaw aspect of it, was kind of gone. So like I understand that, but like that's the one thing that we're all gonna, regardless if they like it or not, they're always gonna be Cheech and Chong. Also recognizing them as musicians and being funny and good actors and that kind of thing. Which that's what I was gonna mention was a rake my eye. That whole scene, like if you talk about like your top 5 favorite musical parts in a fucking movie, like goddamn, this one's got to be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. Fucking Chong's all fucking the old girl gave him the wrong fucking pills. He's all fucked up. He's falling over his drum set, which I had a really horrible dream the other day because this Go to Her show. I'm a little bit nervous, and us talking about this, but they're all dressed all weird at a punk rock show. And originally in the movie, the band's manager had them all dressing like idiots. They're all wearing the same, like, shiny outfit. And
it's lame, man.
Yeah.
Lame.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But in this, they were able to, like, all dress kind of weird. And Chong's wearing Chong's like dressed like a Quaalude, like it's on the back of the box. With a cape on and everything. And he's playing with these huge ass drumsticks, which would be impossible to play with. Almost impossible. And fucking Cheech is, wearing a tutu and wearing a mask and kind of playing a pink and green guitar, although he doesn't really do anything. But it's it's one of the most, like, it might be like one of the first Chugga Chug songs. I mean, come on. I mean,
try to tell me how to live.
Korn.
Even the Korn fucking covers, though.
Yeah, Cheech sings on that too. Like, there's video footage of that shit too.
I was telling Dave he had no idea it existed.
I didn't.
Well, it was a secret. It was technically a secret track back when they used to do that shit. And man, I remember when I started hearing that, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And that's one of my favorite covers. Is Korn's version of that.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, it's
like
shit.
99 or something where you just keep skipping through all the
Nine Inch Nails used to do that all the time too.
Manson did too, and Tool. Yeah.
Yeah, just
always
keep skipping tracks. Danzig did it on a couple of his albums.
Yeah. If you just go on to YouTube or whatever, you can find it on there pretty easy.
Yeah. Kids today will never understand. We had to let the last track play through and then wait till it got to track 99.
Or you hit skip really quick. And you're trying to get to like that number, and then you skip past it and you fuck it up, and you've got to keep doing it.
It's like a fucking rotary phone.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
So they
fuck you with the phone.
My dad had the same rotary phone for years.
Yellow.
It was black, but he had a yellow phone that was like one of the old school ones when they just started putting buttons in. Like, Dad doesn't really like throwing shit out unless it's just fucked. And then he takes it apart to see how it works.
The yellow wall rotary with like the fucking box around it that looked like the old school setup with like the little like hand and mouthpiece.
Oh, nice.
Oh shit, that's kind of cool. Actually, no, we did actually upstairs thinking about it. We had a yellow one that was on the wall for a while, and then
always that real palish looking yellow too,
like an off-white.
It looked like your phone was white at one time, but like everybody in your house was a heavy smoker.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. My mom was the smoker between my parents because my dad didn't smoke, and it was right there where my mom would sit there and have her fucking smoking fits. So I would say at one time it was probably white, but as a kid I knew it was yellow. I also knew that smoking wasn't a good thing, and well, here I am today.
Yeah, I started stealing cigarettes from my grandparents whenever I was like 11 or 12.
And sure enough, as we approach 11:30, the computer is coming back to life. But look at us.
Totally.
We still made it work. Made it work.
Dun, dun, dun. Don't you fucking touch this.
So as I'm not touching nothing. I'm not looking at it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not doing nothing. I'm mellow.
Good.
Boy.
Man, Chuck earlier was talking about we've all had that moment in the car. I thought he was going to say we've all had that moment when you're in the car and fucking you see a fucking dude dressed like a chick hitchhiking. You go to pick him up.
I mean, depending on where you go.
Oh my God! Yeah, talk to Eddie Murphy about it. But
I was freezing my balls off, man. I didn't think you had any, man. I was like, what is that?
It's so fucking funny and stupid. Like, it's the kind of shit I like dumb shit sometimes. Where fucking, how do you not realize that this guy's got a fucking full beard and everything? Or like at the fucking at the beginning when Chong's at his parents' house and they're fucking like giving him shit and talking about sending him to military school. Like, how old is he supposed to be in this?
I wondered the same thing too. But you also realize that like he's apparently got money. He's just
rich kid.
He's not
lazy.
About that.
Yeah, he isn't about just being like conformity. Like nobody should honestly be like how Cheech and Chong are, but man, I do know some people who kind of live like that, and I love them for it. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Bend over, I'll drive you home.
Well, the part where they're in the car, because the car they just as a whole is great.
So good.
And when Cheech is like, oh, I think I got a joint, man, and he pulls out like a toothpick, and he's like, man, he's like, oh, no, he's like, it's my dick. Oh, no. And he pulls it out, and he's like, man, I hope your dick isn't this big. He goes, hey, man, you want to walk?
That is a toothpick, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, that is a toothpick.
But that's
It's
it,
me in the
man.
other pocket.
This is a fun, just goofy ride. Don't take it seriously. It's just funny.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
fucking hilarious. It's just funny. It's great.
This is a great movie. I think I've watched it 5 or 6 times since Sunday.
It's a cult classic, stoner film or not.
I want to watch it again.
I also have to mention that the vinyl that they came out with for Up in Smoke had a huge rolling paper in it. And I've known so many of my friends' parents who have. We've gone through their vinyl and shit throughout the years, and none of them have the paper still. And of course, we have to ask, and they're like, we'll tell you when you're older. And a couple of them are like, oh, well, me and so-and-so and Uncle so-and-so, like, we wrote all this shit up in this one paper. And, I mean, it's perfect. It's just
funny.
so funny.
I was watching this interview this on YouTube. This guy was interviewing Tommy Chong, and he actually had one that wasn't used yet and everything. And he fucking handed it to Tommy, and he's like, one survived.
Yeah. Is he at a smoke shop or some shit?
It's like a record store or like a hippie shop or something. It's like him
Yeah.
and his wife.
Yeah, I've seen that. And he ends up rolling it, right? He ends up rolling a big fat one, right?
I don't know.
Okay. I watched one video where he walked into this place, and
I
this
think
guy.
he's tying the box for the dude or something.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that one.
Fucking Squirrel Master coming out of left field.
I remember one thing that was kind of cool was like I love Cypress Hill as well, and there's a lot of they've kind of become kind of buddies, and they've kind of coincided in different things. And they did the big smoke out Cypress Hill does they did it just about every year at one time. And Chong was there, and during Cypress Hill's set, they have a bong that is like
An evil bong?
it's like it would if you don't have the lungs. It's like a fucking he has to be on a fucking ladder to get to the top of it, put it that way. And he gets up there and fucking Be Real can hit that, and he doesn't. He barely fucking coughs, and the guy just Chong gets up there, and he even talks about the documentary, I think it was, where he gets up there and he hits it. They light it at the bottom for him. He tries his best to fucking inhale, and he's like, man, that was just too much for me. Guy's getting older, but at least he fucking puts a fucking good effort,
Yeah.
The old school classics. The ones that make us the people that we are these days.
I mean,
Our parents are very happy.
No matter what, Cheech and Chong are going to be on the fucking Mount Rushmore of weed.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Bottom line.
Them and Willie Nelson, Snoop Dogg. They're all kind of, Cypress Hill especially. I mean, they're, again, you want to talk about the Latino community or whatever. They're big ones with that. Bob Marley, of course.
Interesting fact. I went to Jamaica and fucking got to tour Bob Marley's house where he grew up as a kid. And fucking that's the only place in Jamaica where you can legally buy weed. You would think, oh, fucking Jamaica, you can get it wherever. I mean, you can, whenever we went to our fucking resort, the guy who brought our bags in was like, hey, you want anything? But it's still considered illegal. But fucking because of Bob Marley's contributions to the country, they've deemed that his house and his property are the only place that you can go and legally purchase it. And it's crazy because you go through the gates and there's this little hole in this cement wall. And it looks weird. You would think okay, it's legal.
Wait. You're talking about weed here, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just hearing holes and walls. I just know where this is going.
No, not the bathroom wall. All right.
I went to this house and put my dick in this hole.
Not like when you ran into Skeet Ulrich. But
it wasn't like that either, buddy.
But there's this big brick wall, and there's a little hole at the bottom. It's I don't know, about the size of a fucking table. It's 5 feet, whatever. And there's this guy down in there chilling, and then fucking you go over there and you fucking just order whatever, you know. Oh, I want some weed, I want some brownies, I want whatever the fuck, and they sell it to you, and it's so weird. It looks so sketchy, but fucking it's straight up illegal, or it's straight up legal. The only place. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Where was the resort at? Right near the beach, boy.
Oh, what a classic it is. And despite everything, all our technical difficulties tonight, this was a lot of fun.
It was still fun.
Yeah. So, God damn it. I let one slip. Pinch it. Pinch it. I'm never going to learn.
You know, I really wish that we could all be in the same room. We do these. I really do. But in moments like this, I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of far away.
See what I deal with?
Yeah. But I still wish we could all.
You hear me?
But it is now time for our random clip of the week. And if you're just joining us, what this is we pick a random clip from a random movie from our random clip generator and see what happens. Let's see what happens this week. This will be extra interesting. Gotta hope this works because this is my favorite segment.
I'm curious.
Well, I've got news for you. You are mine now. You belong to me.
That was it?
You're not going to have your mommy run behind you anymore and wipe your little tushes. Oh, no. It's time now to turn this mush into muscles. No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing.
Arnold, too.
There is no bathroom.
That's unfair.
There is no bathroom here. I'll do the audio. Fucking play it. I'll do the audio. Roll it back. Back to one.
Well, I've got news for you. You're mine now. You belong to me.
You belong to me.
You're not going to have your mommy run behind you anymore and wipe your little tushes. Oh, no. It's time now to turn this mush into muscles.
Into muscles.
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimball have to go to the bathroom. Nothing.
Nothing.
There is no bathroom.
There is no bathroom. Come on, what are you doing? Get to the chopper.
Fuck my life.
I've smoked myself stupid.
Oh, and
that's what we do here. We make it work. We make it work.
Oh, fuck.
All right, before we depart, does anybody have anything going on in their lives?
I think there is something going on this weekend.
I got something going on this weekend.
Well, yeah, I'm queuing you up.
On Friday, in Louisville and Zanzibar, my band Bashing
I'm so excited.
I'm just nervous as shit. Bashing Sons of Judas Code and our buddies All with the Blind are having the honor of opening up for New Orleans, blackened, like death metal legends, fucking goat whore. And, you know, like, I don't know if they're like black and death metal, but they kind of give off that kind of vibe. But whatever. I've loved this band for like fucking 15, 20 years. And I feel good about it. But Friday, Zanzibar, Louisville, Kentucky, come out. Start today. And it's going to be a lot of fun. We got some new shirts that are coming in tomorrow. So we'll have some new merch. They kind of look similar to this. They have the same little goat on it, kind of. He's got a little twerks to him, but has our logo on it. Stuff looks really cool, so we'll have those. Yeah, and next week we're playing in Louisville again, this time at Mag Bar, with a band called Aulnes, A-U-L-N-E-S. They're a really badass sludge band. They're on tour. There was another band that was supposed to be there, but they had to drop off. And then I think there's a couple other local bands, but I'm kind of confused on who's going to be there because certain people won't get back to me and nobody's going to answer certain questions. So I've got to get in there and be like, hey, what the fuck is up, dude? And so, yeah. But there is a show going on in Mag Bar next week on Wednesday. I think 7, 8 o'clock. Be there. You know, or be square. That's so stupid.
You said Mag Bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just make sure.
Magnolia Bar, but Mag Bar. Yeah. I don't know how much it is to get in, but it should be more than $5 or $6, maybe 10. I don't know.
You know what would be amazing is that if you did one of these gigs dressed as a Quaalude or with like a fucking tutu on.
Well, what's funny is because in a weird way, you know, because they're kind of a two-piece. Because you kind of ignore the fact that the other band is there. They're just kind of stand-ins, you know what I mean? I've thought about, like, it'd be really cool if we could do a version of Break My Eye and do something like that live at some point. But I don't know if I can get my guitar player, Josh, to do something like that. Like
that'd be fun, especially, you know, since it's on 421. So it's like 420 just happened. It's kind of like an homage to Cheech and Chong where you do that fucking little quick cover gimmick.
Well, I wish that we had the time to do that, but like, you know, at some point it'd be kind of fun. But again, there's some things that, like, Josh is cool with a lot of stuff, but there's some things Josh is not cool with.
Well, then we'll have to save it for 1 week on here, and you're gonna have to do that cover for us.
Yeah, I almost tried to find I was trying to find like the Mickey Mouse hat and the fucking mask and like a pink tank top just wear for this shit because that'd have been fucking hilarious.
I will say this though. There is a possibility. I have kind of a side project going. The name has not been decided because nobody can come to an agreement. This is why I'm glad that Bastard Sons is two people. But I could probably get those guys to possibly work up a cover of that, and everybody might agree on it, possibly. And if that happens, I can't promise that anybody's going to dress up, but we might be able to have a little audio for you for that, because this has been actually talked about before while jamming.
Oh
yeah.
We've actually acapella'd this a couple of times while jamming. So yeah. So there's that. I don't know. Woo.
Oh yeah. Check it out this weekend. Links to the Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat are in the description.
Yeah. Bastard Sons of Judas Goat. No the at the beginning though.
No the. I'm sorry. Just bastard. Just bastards.
Bastard Sons.
Bastards and goats.
Yeah, bastards and goats. Or if you like to, you know, the illegitimate stepchildren of farm animals.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, of angry farm animals. Yeah. I think it'd be kind of cool one day if we did a self-titled album and we kind of called it that. So it wouldn't really be a self-titled album. It would just be, it would be a self-titled but in a different way. Kind of cool. Just saying.
Yeah, man.
So that about wraps it up for us here tonight. Does anybody have any last words before we part, as 420 is fast approaching?
Yep, we're almost there. 420 on the horizon.
Make
sure.
Peace.
What?
That's my last thing I want to say.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you're going with that. But yeah, 420 about to happen. Folks, enjoy your 420. Watch some Cheech and Chong. Watch some of your favorite fucking stoner flicks, and just fucking chill out and have a good day from your video.
Be safe.
That's it. Be good. Be safe. We are your video store clerks. We'll be back to normal next week. I hope the quality for this video is up to par. But please join us next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern, on the Video Store Clerks Podcast.